How we doing there? Just getting rolling. Hope everybody had a good I just wanted to come back on and good evening, everyone. Having some internet issues up here, but we'll get in our series as we're creeping closer to the end of the holiday season, good Christmas season, and is prepped and ready for the. So we'll just go through some of the stuff, that I've got labeled out for this this episode. The next episode will be more in depth, but to take a minute to just reflect for a second on the off. That's when the season ended. It's been a pretty. Some of you may have watched and noted that Biffle, which killed him, his wife, and his children. And if that wasn't bad enough, then we get the news Sunday night. The runner-up last year to the NASCAR series, Denny Hamlin's parents' house caught fire, and his dad, unfortunately, his mom is in critical condition still. So, you keep both those families in your thoughts, your prayers. It's just it's terrible. Especially right around the holidays when it's all about hope and faith and love and fun and for the new year, and to hear something like that. So just keep just a sad ordeal all around. Part of that, you do have what we call in the off season is they call the off season silly season. It's just crazy things happen at that time. You never know what's going to happen. You have people changing teams. You have teams changing going here. You just have a lot of moving parts, and so it's kind of a crazy thing. We'll just run through some of them that have happened this year. Daniel track. He's raced for Trackhouse for the past few years. They have decided to go in a different direction and sports. So that's probably the biggest move as far as the Cup Series goes. Really wasn't a lot of moving around this year. Shane Van Gisbergen, who came over 2 years ago from the Australian Supercar Series. He's from New Zealand. Dominated the road course races last year. He won Rookie of the Year last year. He signed an extension with Trackhouse Racing. But Haas Factory Team, which used to be the former Stewart Haas Racing, has decided to switch from Ford to Chevrolet. A pretty big deal. I mean, it takes a car out of the Ford stable and puts it in the Chevy stable. But it's something everybody thought was coming over time. See if there's any other good, crazy news. So really not silly season, but with their Hemi, their Dodge Ram, it'll make its debut in 2026 in Daytona for the Truck Series only. Speculation, I'd assume that they'll be in the Cup Series in line to get that going. So that's kind of one of the big things I look forward to. I like when you have all the manufacturers in the U.S. there. I mean, the big three, of course. Be Dodge, Toyota's in there, of course. But to me, it just makes it better when you've got more manufacturers out there. One thing that was brought up this year to me was, of course, y'all have heard me mention the 11 Motorsports and NASCAR and an antitrust thing. Of course, 2311 owned by Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan. He settled the two sides. They were in court at the beginning of December, and they decided to settle. One of the big sticking points was, and for those that aren't 100% sure, I discussed charters in previous episodes. Gives you a starting spot in every race. You're guaranteed a starting spot. You don't have to rely on. You're automatically guaranteed a spot. So that's a big advantage to it. Plus, the payout for a charter team on prizes and stuff like that is a lot higher than a non-charter team. One of the reports I saw, because I didn't, obviously get the transcript of the court documents and everything and all the stuff that the two teams, Front Row Motorsports and 2311, who racing the pack half of the year as unchartered teams, so they got only a portion of the payout because they've settled and technically full-time charter teams through the year. They were required. NASCAR, I think, had to pay them. I want to $365 million, not each, but between the two teams. And I think that the 2311 team would get more because they had better finishing positions. But how it all breaks down, who knows? But something about NASCAR owed them $365 million. That's just a report I saw. Don't want to hold that for a fact. So that's kind of some of the big changes going on through the off season. We do have some questions in here that we've got. Good evening. What's up, Doug? See you popping in down there in the chat. One of the things we've got before I get to some of the questions is we're sitting here on December 30th. And I don't know. There you go. Wrong button. There we go. The Daytona 500. Like I said a minute ago, the NASCAR season ended. I want to say it was November 8th, and then it kicked Daytona 500, which is weird because it's the biggest race for NASCAR. And it's the first race. But we're 46 days till Daytona's race, which is Sunday. Race. The actual week will be, I think Wednesday is qualifying. Fives, which are the dual 250. I think they're 125s. Qualifying will happen Wednesday, and the first two positions will be set. The top is they'll split the field up. Everybody that qualified three, all the odd number qualifiers will be in dual one, and the evens will be in dual two. And then they'll race. The first race, dual one will go. And like I said, the guy who won the pole on Wednesday will be one, and then whoever the positions will be filled in through there behind him, three all the way through. And then the dual race two is the second fastest. So, and we're just going to use, because he's in the chat, Doug is the second fastest. We finish in the dual, we're first and second come Sunday. So if we finish last in the dual, we're still first and second. But then everybody else will slot in. So the winner of the dual will be third all the way down in order behind first and second place. So a lot of the NASCAR stuff is hard to understand and talking with words. It's a lot easier to understand by watching. The broadcast teams that run NASCAR, that do NASCAR, do a really good job. But then, of course, you got those on Thursday, and then you have truck races Friday. The old is another change that happened this year. O'Reilly's took over sponsorship from Xfinity of NASCAR, and then of course Sunday is the Cup Series at Daytona. It'll scare you. It's pretty crazy. So we'll save this topic for the last, which is the reward. I wish these buttons would work. I'll talk this in a minute. For Christmas this year, my wife, and I didn't think she could do any better than what she's done the past years, but wound up getting me a ride along and a Dodge Helder Speedway for 3 laps at speed. Those cars run about 190. And I am stoked and excited for it. To Charlotte, do that, and then leave Charlotte and drive up 2 hours to Martinsville, Virginia on Saturday night, and then go to the Martinsville, Virginia race on Sunday. And then spend the rest of the week kind of tooling around Virginia and stuff and up the East Coast. So quick shout out to my wife real quick for that. That was just one of the most amazing things I've talked about it. I've wanted, was able to get it. So super looking forward to that. It's going to be March 29th for anybody watching that wants to go on and buy tickets to the Martinsville race. Me and and go over there and party with us, have a good time. Let's see where we're at here. Let's see. Let me get to I had some people text me questions, so let me get to my phone real quick. Is it true NASCAR grew from bootlegging alcohol? Yes, 100%. Rising. Go watch it. That's the start of NASCAR. Guys running moonshine got hooked up together, and one of the guys, the family got upset, mad, whatever, and one guy just said, "I'm tired of y'all." From there, and yeah, running moonshine was the beginning of NASCAR. In fact, my shirt, I've got a magnet on my fridge too, and I've got a shirt that typically straight up says, "Before there was speed, there was shine." Shirts. So yes, 100%. Grew from bootlegging alcohol. And if you go back and watch the first episode isn't a part number, it's just like an overview, and then they break it down from there. But if you go back and watch the previous episodes, you'll hear some more of that too. Next question from our buddy Doug. Does NASCAR race outside of the USA? Yes, they have a couple of times. They've raced in Japan before. That was an exhibition race. It's just way too hard to do in the regular season due to the travel and all the issues with getting cars flown over to Japan and all this stuff. So they haven't done that. Again, they've raced in Canada before, Mexico City at a course down there. And there's NASCAR Europe. There's NASCAR Brazil. There's NASCAR sanctioned series around the world too. So there's a few NASCAR series around the world, but the actual guys that race up here, Mexico City, that's about as far as they've gone so far. So just really anywhere across, to Europe or anything, they're kind of off. But Canada and Mexico, you can do in the middle of the season. I could see a Europe race like maybe in the off season, but then again in the off season, what's your weather like in other parts of the world? So it'd be just so hard. You wouldn't want to waste all that money moving cars to Europe just to have everything snow out. So I just don't see that happening anytime soon. Like I said, Mexico, Canada, I can see, but I don't really see anywhere else. Next question from Doug. Track has the fastest turn, and how fast can one go? If you go back in the day, it would easily be like a Talladega. Michigan's got really fast corners. Like I know, caps on all the stuff that they do now with the horsepower on the engines and stuff. And I know guys were hitting Michigan going into the first turn at Michigan after the straightaway over 200 miles an hour. I know Bill Elliott holds the NASCAR qualifying record for a race, and I want to say it was Talladega. That'll never be broken because they just don't allow the cars to go that fast. These cars nowadays, weights and aero and all that stuff to the cars, you're talking, you won't ever see that speed broken again in my estimation. Michigan, those are probably some of the fastest corners. But you're not going as fast as the big tracks because it's a half-mile track, but banking's 36 degrees. So the amount of G-forces on you is just like insane. It literally compresses you 3 inches when you go into the corner at Bristol. So there's a variance of speed and as far as fastest, I'd have to say Michigan, Daytona, Talladega would probably be some of the fastest turns, if not the fastest. The problem with Daytona and Talladega is those are considered drafting tracks. So the cars are all right in a row. So you're pushing each other. So if you're the first place car. So there's a whole correlation to that. But they into the corners in Daytona and Talladega on, pretty normally. Which is 2 miles an hour. Say it's 70 miles an hour on the interstate. You're and you're doing 70 and people are flying past you and you're like, slow down, and when you really think about it. I'll know more about what the speeds feel like when I get back right in Charlotte. I'll post some videos on here. We're going to have some videos and stuff too. So I'll post some of that stuff on my channel as well. Dirt to paved. To be honest, I don't know the exact year, but I know, when NASCAR first started, they raced on the Daytona beach, to where it was too much of a problem to be on the beach. So they'd go from the beach and then they moved it over and then they built the tracks throughout the beginning of NASCAR from the 50s, 60s on. 4 or 5 years ago, they were still taking Bristol Motor Speedway that I talked about, the little half mile, and turning it into dirt for street stuff with dirt and race on dirt. They did that 3 years in a row. It was cool the first time. It's just not something I'm a fan of. I'm not a big fan of dirt racing for the NASCARs. The trucks have raced up at Eldora Dirt Speedway here before. I'm just not a big fan of racing. If I am going to watch dirt racing, I prefer it to be the truck series. I with the Cup series and that car. But as far as the years where they say they raced 30 times and 20 are on, asphalt concrete tracks and 10 are on dirt, and then the next year 5 are on dirt, and then the next year 7. So exact science to it. There probably is. I don't know the exact when it happened, but it's just been kind of gradual over time. Commonly known as the 3 Ds of speed. Yeah, you named it: drafting, downforce, and drag. Drafting, obviously, you got a car here, and he's pushing all the air out of the way, and you get another car behind him, my hands like this car, and so the air is going over, so that's less drag, which again from the air coming over the top of the first car. And then you get more of those cars in a line, and the effect just gets more and more and more and more. And when it comes to like a Daytona, that's a drafting track, you'll see them. They'll be going down the straightaways, and they're just literally running into the back of the car in front of them, pushing them, go, pushing them, pushing them. And this is, 10 to 12 back. And if you have a mistimed push, done, game over. You're going to spin somebody out, and they're going to take out half the field. And they call it the big one. So you got to maximize downforce and reduce drag on your car, and that's the trick that every team tries to find. They usually had more of a rounded type nose, and now they're going to have more of a flat type nose. Now, the flat type nose will help drafting style tracks where you're pushing each other, because your nose is going to be flatter versus rounded, so you can be more aggressive pushing. But it's also probably going to affect you more on tracks where you're not in a big draft like that, and you have more, air on the nose of your car, because it's more of a wide to push down. So versus the air deflecting around the sides, it's going to be pushing on the car. So this happened a couple of years ago with Ford when they went from the classic Mustang. It happened. It took Ford about half a year. You wouldn't think with all the out how to get everything adjusted right. And I mean, it worked out in the long run because it won the championship. But I love the Mustangs, and I'm. Oh wait, hold on, we want. It's kind of like the old adage you hear in football where the quarterback makes a pass and the coach is like, no, and it's complete for a touchdown. And he's like, yeah, good pass. Kind of what I was like with Ford. Again, go back and watch some of the previous episodes, and you'll see it and hear about it. But to touch on it real quick, and they go 36 weeks, which is 2 weekends off a year. Sometimes one. Last year was one. I think this year's two. Was broadcasting the Summer Olympics, but they were also broadcasting NASCAR. So NASCAR took a 2 week. So yeah, there's races from middle February to first to second week of November. There's racing almost every weekend, and the trucks and the Xfinity series are racing. So there's some form of straight. By far the longest sporting season in the U.S. By I mean, I guess if you're not, maybe soccer plays a little longer, but they play a lot. Let's go to our buddy WTP for life, Robert there. You'll notice a bunch of names scrolling across. Those are all of the WTP sports dudes. TP for life. You've got City League TV, which is on Facebook and YouTube. It says FanDuel Zaya on the bottom, but I believe it's turned to one time or one touch Zaya on here. Level Up Sports 10. That's my buddy Mossberg. Parlay Pose runs the Blitzburg podcast. Postgame has the Postgame 86 podcast. check, like, subscribe, all of them out. Turn notifications on so you know when we go live, either one of us or all of us. SEC Sean. But Rob, we got a question from him in here. And if it'll pop up, hey, look at that. It actually season each year. Not necessarily. Weeks to the system. I know they're supposed to be changing or doing. Once I know for sure, I'll definitely get on and kind of break that down, what the changes, some new rules, tweak some rules that they feel was a big issue with drivers doing something and getting themselves suspended. And it was really no penalty yet. They got suspended, but they would just ask if you get injured in a race, you can ask for a waiver for the playoffs in case you qualify. Guys were wrecking people on purpose and then asking for a waiver and getting it, and people were like, well, where's the con? If you do something like that, you won't be eliminated from the play throughout the season, and took them away, and you started the playoffs with just the bottom barrel points. So for somebody that had accumulated, say, 40 points for the playoffs and then did something stupid and got themselves suspended, instead of starting the playoffs with 2,040 points, which is what all, they would start with 2,000, which doesn't seem like a lot, but in the grand scheme, it's hard to come back from. Those are some of the things. So it's not that something new is added every year. This year, the big addition to the NASCAR season is the and put it in the naval base out in San Diego. So they're going to be racing on an actual naval base, which is going to be really, I'm really stoked for that. And on NASCAR YouTube channel, the trailer. Let's see. What you look forward to. Another good question from WTP for Life. For Daytona, love Daytona. Love the mid-season tournament that they started this year, which I talked a little bit about last episode. Like that. But Daytona, it's so hard to beat Daytona. That there's just a few races throughout the year that are what NASCAR considers crown jewel events. Daytona, obviously. The Martinsville fall race is that's crazy. Nighttime, little short track. Bristol's night race in September is Chris. One of the best. That to me, Bristol Motor is the ultimate place to go for your first ever NASCAR track. Yeah, if you can't go to that one, then you need to go to a short track. Don't go to one of the big super speedways. It's not going to be all the excitement that you're looking for, go to one of the short tracks where they're bumping and banging. But those are just the crown jewels, and it's just something I look forward to. That and just the battle for playoff position to go. You start seeing the intensity ramp up for playoff positions. So those are just some of the things I look forward to. The Daytona 500, of course, that whole week leading up, I'm just glued to the TV. That there's one thing, but there's a bunch of things I look forward to. But yeah, most definitely. I mean, I'm so I'm pretty excited for that. I apologize. I can't breathe. I appreciated WTP. It's one take, Zaya. Couldn't remember exactly what he changed it to, but I appreciate that. So it's one take, Zay. Some crazy stuff, I'm pretty sure. Last question from WTP. What racing team are you rooting for this season or every season? Used to be my driver was Kevin Harvick, who drove racing. He took over when Dale Earnhardt passed away. He took over that car. And I was a fan of his forever. And then when he left Richard Childress and went to Stewart-Haas, because he was good friends with Tony Stewart, I, of course, followed him to that race team. And it was a Chevrolet thing. They ran Chevrolets. And then when they switched, became a Ford guy, which is crazy because when I first got into the sport, my favorite drivers drove Ford. I found Harvick and became a Chevrolet. I never really, I guess, rooted for the manufacturer. I was more of a driver guy. But when Harvick and Stewart-Haas and all them went to Ford, I became a Ford guy. And since then, I've always just favorite race team, obviously this one right here. Josh Berry. Besides the number 3 that Dale Earnhardt drove, the 21 is probably the most honest. The number 3 cars only recently come back in the past few years. Now, but it's a different scheme. It's not the black number classic NASCAR races. It is, but in NASCAR, they were there from the beginning, and they're still going. They have an affiliation or an alliance with Penske Motorsports. Their cars are all built, housed right there in Penske's shop there in North Carolina. Is who he races for. And like I said, it's just an icon. So they're my team. 3 drivers, which is Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, who you love, hate, and Austin Cindric. So, quick shout out to Ryan Blaney and his wife too. Not that he'll ever watch this podcast, but congratulations on the birth of their child. Ryan Blaney's a good guy. Guys, there's a lot of them in the sport, but he's one of the real true ones. Everybody said sit down and have a beer because it would turn into probably quite a few with Ryan Blaney. Great. So those are probably my teams. Wood Brothers, Penske, pretty much the stable of Fords. I root for Haas Factory Team. Well, just because I grew up watching them for so long. But they switched to Chevrolet now. I still root for their driver. Name's Cole Custer. I'm telling you, that just sounds like a race. So those are who I'm rooting for. Josh Berry got in the playoffs last year and didn't go so well for him, but I'm looking for it. And they were fast all year. They had speed all year. Just that's one of those you gotta you gotta take baby steps to get to the top, and he did. He won his first race, got into the playoff, a terrible showing in the playoffs, much like my college football, lost. Now we'll see what we go next year. Next year, let's get into the playoffs and win the game. Advance out of the first round. And then we'll see from there. But that's who I'm rooting for and watching for the season. And I really expect a good to finish up Doug's question. Well, I've already answered that question with Doug with the college ball. Where is it? Arkansas Pine Bluff. If I'm not mistaken, that's where she plays. She plays ball in the spring, so yeah, I mean summer, fall. There's races all the way February to November. Find one, load her up, and come to Martinsville, Virginia with us. I'm in September, and take her to Bristol, Doug. Take her to the Bristol. My wife to her first race, and she's locked in. Take her to that race. You can get the schedule on NASCAR.com. You can get tickets right through there. Tons of stuff. Because A&M safety Bryce Anderson in there. I knew he was in there in the portal. Wasn't worried about it. Off talking about this podcast with me, Robert, is I don't topic quick. Off topic. Yeah. They're not. He'll get it. Even if it's one of them, he touches him for the sack. Probably not the way my world looking out for his future and his health. I do believe. I believe he gets it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna go on a limb here and tell you I expect Myles Garrett to have 2 to 3 sacks in the game and just make this record almost untouchable. Of course, everybody thought it was untouchable. Yes. So yeah, I think he gets it. I think he does. Just what I'm thinking. And we'll go into this again. Let me see. Today's Tuesday. probably next week, Thursday or Friday of next week, probably Friday. The Fan Rewards app. This is the must-have for a NASCAR fan. You pretty much go on your smartphone, go to your store, place the Google store, and just get the NASCAR app. Go through it. It walks you through step by step what to do, how to sign up, put your name, email, all that good stuff. It'll email, and I get it. But if you want to create a fake email so you don't get inundated, but check the boxes to get the newsletters. To be honest with you, I always forget to check the stupid thing for the promo code, but you don't have to do it to earn plenty of points to do what you need. You've got, but it'll walk you through. You fill out all the stuff. You pick a driver. You can pick one. You can go change it later. You're not stuck with it. You can go change it. So just all your information to start the app within the first. You get the app. Doesn't seem like much, but trust me. I was at most of the season this year, missed a few things, and I still was well up. If you just want free tickets to races, whether it be the Sunday Cup Series, you want to go to 4 truck races in a year, 12,000 points, 3,000 points for 2 tickets. Somebody like Doug, you want to take to a race. Maybe not the Cup Series race because you may not have that many points, but class for free. Then it just travel is all it costs you. You can trade the points in for autographed merchandise. You can trade it in for a tire. A tire. You can for experiences. You trade your points in for anything. Tickets, fine. Merchandise, fine. I ordered, just because I'm crazy, some of the NASCAR aviator sunglasses. I had them for about 2 days till my granddaughter got them. It was 500 points. So these seat cushions, like I said, merchandise, hats, autograph merchandise, the experiences. There's just so many different things. And you're like, okay, well, but how do you get points? Simple. Every time there's a race, not even the Clash, the Clash, which is the first race of the year, that's the race before the race stadium, iconic stadium called the Madhouse. Go look it up and you'll see why it's called the Madhouse. But every time there's a race, you just simply open the app, you hit check in, 50 points. For the Daytona week, let's just go through Daytona. You've got the 2 dual races, which I think you can only check into one of them. So you get 50 points there, 50 points for the Truck Series, and you get 50 points for the O'Reilly Series, and you get 50 points for there's 200 points. But based on your tier level, which everybody else, I think it's maybe no bonus points at the rookie level. I'm sorry. But when you get up to, I think, getting bonus points. So now 50 becomes 52, or 53 becomes 63. So once you get to a tier, let's just say you start off this year and you're a rookie, and by the end of the year, you're champion. 12/31 of 2026, it resets, but you keep your tier level. So if you're champion, you start next year as a champion. You don't have to keep building yourself up every year. You start as a champion. Once you hit that tier, you check into every race. They have a thing on there every Tuesday and Thursday. A question on the NASCAR YouTube. My dashboard comes up, and it'll have a question. Answer the question. If you get it right, you get it right. If you get it wrong, you still get the points. And then go on my laptop and Google the answer because I thought I had to get it right. You don't have to get it right. Even if you get it wrong, you get the bonus. I say that now, but try to get it right because that'll probably change. Now that I said it doesn't matter. It'll. So, create a fantasy team every week. Select 5 drivers, 1 for the garage. Answer a couple of head-to-head questions. Seems like a lot. You get streaks. Oh, you check in on the leaderboard, which is where you would check into the race too, by the way. So checking into a race would be, and say the race starts at 3:00. Well, let's say you're, I don't know, cleaning the garage, taking a nap, whatever. Go in, even if there's 5 laps left in the race, you can still check in and still get the points for checking in. Into 10 consecutive races, 200 bonus points. You checked into this, bonus point. You've created a fantasy team for 20 consecutive weeks. Here's 500 bonus points. It's your birthday. Here's 500 bonus points. Went to the NASCAR Hall of Fame and they put a code up in the Hall of Fame, which is in Charlotte, which is a phenomenal Hall of Fame, by the way. You put that code into your promo code. Boom, there's an extra 100 points. I mean, check into a track because you went to a race. There's another 100 points. You can anywhere between 150 to 200 points minimum every weekend. On Wednesdays, they do this thing called Powerball Wednesdays, and you just simply open the app, go to your points. That's normally what it gives us. Every now and then you'll get one for 50, 55 points based on how many you got. So, I promise you that. I can tell you this. I started halfway through the first season I ever got the app. I started halfway through, and by the end of the year, I had over 5,000 points and had enough to buy tickets to a race, which is when I cost me hotel and, of course, shopping and food and drinks. But I didn't have to pay for the tickets, and they were really. I'm going to go through it a little more. Probably show you what the thing looks to and share my screen. Don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but we'll see what we can do to make it work. But the app is just the way to go. This year there wasn't really any tickets that worked for me, so this year I'll have to buy my tickets to the really good sections and really good seating. 2 tickets to the Martinsville race sitting on the start finish line I can get me and my wife on the aisle. So if we want to get up and go get something to eat or drink, it's going to cost me $101, $50 a ticket, and that's right on the start finish line. So just remember, when you're buying tickets to NASCAR, the higher up you go, the more expensive the seats get. It's reversed from other sporting events. So, but yeah, there's just different ways to do all that stuff, to earn points, and it's crazy the amount of points you can earn in this stuff. It resets every year, like I said. So like tonight or tomorrow, I got to get my wife's app and go in and spend all her points. Like I said, there's the stuff right now. I think for the rewards is they do sweepstakes here and there, and sometimes you can trade your points in for a chance. It's normally 50 points. Sunoco fuel for a year. I split mine this year and put with a little bitty Hot Wheel cars for all the teams from last year. Diego race on the naval base. So will I win? Probably. Anyway, so what did it cost me? Nothing. Not a thing. Not a dime. Not one dime. Cost me nothing. And I could win VIP, travel, hotel, the first race ever there, or being a collector of the stuff, I could get the cars from all the series. So, and it cost me nothing. So just numerous different things. We'll bring up the app and I'll share my screen next time we do this, and the next episode is going to be pretty much all about the fan rewards. Now, do not download the app today or tomorrow. Don't. Wait until the second, third week of January. The app will refresh and it'll update, because you're just going to lose them. You don't have enough time to really earn anything to spend. So just wait. We'll do the episode next week, going more through it. Next week or 2 weeks, we'll see. I may postpone until the actual app updates and releases. But we'll update so that we can get everybody to know that, hey, go get it, and then start going through it. So other than that, nothing else in the comments. Like I said, you got any questions, concern, go like and subscribe to all of our channels. Hit the little bell so you get notified when we go live. Just do what we come support, and we don't do it for anything. We just do it because we love all kinds of different sports, and we'll get some Cup going here pretty soon. Getting ready for that to kick off in the we'll get some of that going. We got, of course, the NASCAR fixing to get really wild and going. We got a little bit of everything. Some hockey talk I'll throw out here. Up into hockey season. Just, go like, subscribe, know to get through my page or any of our pages. You can find a way to contact us, email, whatever. I'll respond to any emails I get. If need be, if it's a question, I may save it for I'll answer it, but I still may bring it up again on the next time I get online. So, other than that, everybody go have a good evening and be safe tomorrow. Don't families in your prayers. I know they could need all they can get right now. Other than that, have a safe end of the year. It's, as I told all my guys at work, since I'm going on vacation, see all you